we're going to be taking a look at BitBoy's meltdown, the fall of the world's largest crypto influencer. This video is coming from Upper Echelon Gaming. Well, not gaming anymore. He covers everything. I've been watching him for gaming for many, many years. Sorry, I keep looking up here because that's where the chat is. I should look here. Let me get used to the new setup. We'll get there. So let's go ahead and hop into it. Let's see what has happened to BitBoy. I've been following a lot of the BitBoy stuff for quite some time. I covered him obviously pulling down a bunch of videos when, you know, shit hit the fan, that sort of thing. We had his whole divorce thing, which I can't be a judge on. I'm always like that, right? Like, judge not lest you be judged. I've been through divorces. I'm not going to judge another man on that sort of thing. That would be hypocritical, right? But you know, the only thing I've disagreed on, like obviously I was on around the blockchain. I don't know what happened between him and TJ. I've never gotten a really good vibe from either individual, to be completely fair. I've always felt like that entire crew has one thing in mind, and it's definitely not for your benefit as a content creator. So yeah, I don't know. And he's an anti-proof of work guy. So obviously from that perspective, we don't get along. Do I hate the guy? No, I kind of more just feel bad for him and everything that's going on. Hopefully he can figure it out, but I haven't been caught up on this. So let's go ahead and get caught up on what's going on with BitBoy from the perspective of somebody completely outside of the cryptocurrency industry.
Do I have your attention now? Do I have it?
Yeah, dude. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. What the fuck?
Good. I thought so.
Dude, I didn't know it was this bad, bro.
So obviously BitBoy is
dude, that's not weed, that's meth. And obviously I'm halfway joking. You can't be that big and on meth, right?
back, also known as Ben Armstrong. And you're probably thinking, oh my God, why? But the answer hasn't really changed. Some of you don't know the story, which is fine. So for anyone who's curious about it, here's the short version. BitBoy, or Ben rather, used to be the world's most...
Dude, he got in really good shape there for a little while. He was doing really, really good.
...popular crypto influencer.
I do want to talk about something that I've noticed, but maybe we'll get... It could be a pretty touchy subject. I personally am on, like, TRT. But I've noticed that there seems to be... Okay. Every guy that I've noticed that gets on TRT seems to go through some sort of weird thing where they start going outside of their marriage. I didn't do that, but I think I see that, and I'm starting to wonder if there's like a connection there. I don't know.
Anywhere. No joke. Well over 1 million followers, he built a personality and became a sort of...
That's completely anecdotal evidence. It's like I know this guy, and then I heard this happened, and I know that he was on TRT because he was doing jiu-jitsu, and then I'm like, huh. And I'm wondering if there's a correlation between basically testosterone levels and polyamory.
Icon in the space for materialistic greed. Gucci tracksuits, Rolex watches, even a Lamborghini Huracan, which apparently became a sort of fused component to his core identity. People who know his name know it for a variety of different reasons, but some of those reasons include a failed lawsuit against YouTuber Atazi, a bizarre sort of media manhunt that he perpetrated during the downfall of FTX against Sam Bankman-Fried, and more recently the collapse of his reputation as Hit Network, the crypto company that he helped create, ousted him from the official BitBoy social media accounts, assuming control of all his assets, well, most of his assets, and even...
Yeah, it might just be the money, not the testosterone.
took away his precious Lamborghini. Here's the thing, Ben is no stranger to controversy. Over the years,
I think it's not TRT replacement. It's always anabolic, by the way. It's like astronomically high testosterone levels and male behavior. Like once you're like over like that 1,500 or whatever the hell, or 1,000 or whatnot.
years he's been accused of pump and dump crypto schemes, forcing price.
And to think hormones don't have an effect on your behavior would be ignorant, I think.
Is higher with public endorsements and then dumping his holdings on all his followers. He's been accused of taking massive payoffs just to cover illegitimate projects. And now, after his incredible fall from grace, he's also known for breaking up his own marriage, showing up to his ex-business partner's home with a firearm in the truck, and, as we'll see in just a minute here, creating harassment campaigns against lawyers, judges, police officers.
Is he the largest influencer? He was at one point the largest influencer. So here's how the YouTube, you guys want to really know how the YouTube crypto game works? I'll tell you right now. I can tell you. Here's how the crypto YouTuber game works. All right. You actually don't build up you don't build up an audience organically. Here's what you do. You partner up with companies that are going to inject a lot of money into your channel. And then you make yourself appear successful by participating within different cryptocurrency projects, mining hardware, whatever it is. And then you basically sell that to the public, and the numbers that are like on the screen aren't necessarily always indicative of how big the audience actually is. Because basically what you're just creating a confirmation bias for the audience, right? And like that's the whole plan. Like you're not actually doing any huge due diligence all the time. What you're doing is you're taking whatever crypto payment in the form of that, which creates your bias, right? So let's say you say, okay, Melania coin is going to give me X amount of Melania coin. Therefore, and then I'll make a video on it because then I want the price of Melania coin to go up. And then I make the video, and it's kind of that churn and burn thing. The reason I've always stayed away from it is because I've seen this. This is my third cycle. I've seen this happen to so many people. I've watched it happen over and over and over again. And the only main thing I've ever wanted to avoid is being in this position, right? I gone through my own personal shit and all that. That's different. I mean, obviously, everybody's going to have to learn and grow, and bad things are going to happen. You're going to have to learn your lessons. And I get that. But you can spiral into, you can learn some lessons from other people spiraling and avoid those. And that's why I don't take coin sponsorships. It's partially is an ethics standpoint, like I've talked about before. Partially it's self-preservation, right? And I think that's really important as an influencer to understand that is the nature of the influencer game, right? It's pumping the numbers up. You pump the view numbers up. You pump the number up of the coin, which gives you some sort of legitimacy to where you get viewers, to where then those viewers buy, which pumps up the coin more, which gives you more legitimacy. And it's just a house of cards. You keep doing it and 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 doing it. And eventually the fucking thing collapses. And who gets taken out the hardest? The person that was the face of it, right? That just happens over and over again.
And anyone else who he believes is part of a massive criminal conspiracy against him, complete with money laundering, dozens of individual perpetrators, seems like everyone is involved in this thing against him, judicial bribery, fraud, racketeering, and even, so he says, contract murder. He claims that what's happening to him is worse than what O.J. Simpson did. And just to add a little bit of flavor here, I guess, this is the type of energy he typically brings to the table.
You're gonna listen to my demands!
Dear Lord.
I will make them at the end.
spoiler, he doesn't really make any demands at the end. I think he forgot about this. He just gets depressed and shuts down the stream. But after years of this man negatively impacting the entire world around him, I don't feel a whole lot of sympathy. Now, some of you watching this may understandably be concerned because
I'll always go back to this because I've had these conversations with influencers in person. I've said, I don't think that you should take cryptocurrency as payment. And they always tell me, like, I have a policy of holding it for X amount of time or whatever it may be. This is like a legitimate conversations I've had with even cryptocurrency mining YouTubers, okay? The problem is it's literally a deal with the devil. And this is the result of that. Yeah, he's got raccoon eyes. I mean, he probably is also not sleeping, though. I'm not going to say anybody's on drugs without... People say I'm on drugs all the time, and I'm not. So,
because it feels like he's having a mental health crisis. It's kind of distasteful to kick somebody while...
And really, yeah, it could just be straight up his mental health suffering.
They're down, at least like this, to such an extreme degree. But one, he's doing all this in the public.
I am on drugs.
2, he made the fortune by means that I can never support or ever defend. 3, things like this happening to people like him is a necessary deterrent against more people living that lifestyle. And 4, he wants public attention, so I'll give it to him. Also 5, sympathy should not be extended to someone dishonest unless they've made demonstrable changes to their lifestyle, thereby deserving that sympathy. Ben Armstrong has done no such thing, hence the video. Let me make something perfectly clear. Ben Armstrong has not changed. There's no remorse here or deeper understanding about ethics and morality, which he makes perfectly clear in the first 10 minutes of his...
Taking payment in the crypto for payment of the content you're creating about that crypto is a recipe for disaster. Yes.
Most recent meltdown, which is a 4-hour YouTube broadcast where he says this.
My entire life is dedicated to shutting that channel down. That's when this is over. The day Discover Crypto is shut down and I get my brand, BitBoy Crypto, given back to me.
It seems pretty obvious why he's doing this, doesn't it?
I mean, like, I could understand being frustrated with that. I mean, I've always worked solo because I don't want to deal with like those types of issues, right? And I think there's a lot of people that have that intelligence about them. Like if you talk to Red Panda Mining or something along those lines, I've had people want to go into business with me, obviously, multiple times. And like, even from the mining perspective, I try to keep everything as separate as possible because the fact of the matter is that you can never, like when money's involved, etc., you can never determine essentially what their reaction is going to be given any certain circumstance, right? And there's other ways that you can make people's lives better through, you know, giving them contract labor, etc. You know, I contract basically an editor and I make his life better. There's things that I can do that still offer, you know, jobs and stuff, but you maintain basically your sovereignty and ownership over your content. I mean, just making those bad decisions in the beginning, like it is hard to like, I feel like it's so easy to see that even without having done it, right? Like I didn't do it because I saw that as being an issue. So from that perspective, like I don't have a ton of sympathy, but I understand how frustrating I do get that it could be extremely frustrating to lose your entire YouTube channel and persona and everything, right?
Return my money and my fame is the subtext, but the genie is out of the bottle and I just don't see it ever happening. One more piece of context though, before I start skipping through the highlights of his capstone meltdown stream, I'll call it. And this comes from September 2023, when Ben drove out to his ex-business partner's home, throwing a tantrum in the street outside his personal house, ultimately getting arrested because of it. I'm playing this because I think it's important to demonstrate just how brutally skewed Ben's version of reality has become, and because self-reflection is entirely impossible if you don't start from the proper foundation. Here it is.
I go knock on the door, and you know what he does? He turns and he runs because he's a pussy.
Yeah, just keep that in mind. He might say something, but reality is probably completely different to what he's.
That was pretty comical. And he runs, and he rings it, and he walks out, and the dude runs.
Says, and that's fine in a vacuum. But when you're throwing around accusations about murder, which he is doing, or widespread conspiracy, it's probably best to be telling the truth. And Ben Armstrong doesn't really seem like a truth teller at this point. Anyway, it's a 4-hour stream, and I'll put a few clips here and there, but mostly I'm just going to summarize. Here we go, and it is a marathon, let me tell you. About 14 minutes in, 14 minutes and 24 seconds to be precise, he talks about how they're trying to frame him for stealing $27 million. 26 minutes in, he's talking about why and how he failed his drug tests, which certainly didn't feel authentic to me, at least. And then at 27 minutes and 50 seconds, he says this.
The thing that the
Dude, that's crazy, though. So he tested positive for amphetamines with no prescription provided. And weed. No, that's like, I'll be honest, like as far as weed goes, I think weed causes paranoia like crazy. And behavior exactly like this, especially in high-grade marijuana. That's what I think. I know there's people that watch me that smoke it. That's fine. But also if you're mixing that with amphetamines, you're going to be paranoid as shit, dude.
At 27 minutes and 50 seconds, he says this.
The thing that the doctor, the Brandy DeSwanee, had forced me to go see, by the way, I have evidence of this. Brandy DeSwanee forced me to go see a doctor. And when I said I didn't want to see that doctor, I went and saw another doctor. And then they said, no, that doctor's not good. You have to go see this one. So I went and saw this guy, Dr. Howard Drutman. What a fucking disappointment of a human being he is to his parents and himself. This guy, after all I'm about to go through with you here, Howard Drutman said I'm
Vapes.
Multi-personality. He says I'm, he didn't say schizophrenic, but he said narcissistic. He said
I use nicotine.
Manic, depressed, ADHD, this, 74 different things.
I just think if you're going through a high stress time in your life, that adding on amphetamines and cannabinoids is probably not a good idea.
That doesn't sound very good, especially when a couple minutes later he goes on to say this.
And once this trauma is removed,
And testosterone and anabolics. At some point, like your body's just not going to be processing all that stuff together. Like, just doesn't seem like your body's going to process all of that very well.
and Discover Crypto is shut down, my life goes back to normal immediately. My level goes from here.
Don't mix Four Loko with wine.
Wow, everything's fine again. These people have to be removed then from the internet.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious at this point that everything in his life now hinges on getting the wealth and the fame back from the people who he believes stole it from him. And I really can't help but form this mental image of con men stealing from a con man. Is it wrong? Philosophically, sure, I guess, but when you reap the benefits of ill-gotten gains for that long at that scale, I'm not really sad for you when it gets taken away. Well, about a minute later, at 29:56, he starts calling for people to literally harass an attorney, shows her website, and explicitly tells his audience, I want you to tell this woman what you think about her not letting me see my kids, which doesn't help him at all, by the way, to see his kids. That's completely backwards. And he continues to say things like, nobody will cooperate, still clinging to this idea that because he's a crypto bro and used to have a Lamborghini, the entire world should conform to what he wants. It's delusion. Later on, about the 40-minute mark, he starts slipping in these random comments.
Yeah, I mean, the dude should have just gotten a 9 to 5 and chilled. You know?
under his breath, "You guys can't trust me. You can't trust me about anything," which is weird. And let's not forget, this comes after he openly alludes to a doctor who didn't specifically say he was schizophrenic, but the implication is certainly there. And the doctor did try and diagnose him as 74 different things, including multi-personality, to which Ben's response is horrible. Just 3 minutes later, 43:25, he starts ranting about someone named George Koenig. He's the corrupt one. He's the one who made it possible for my former business partners to steal all this money. He's the mastermind behind layering the crimes from a lawyer perspective. And then bizarrely, he says that in this case, with the CFTC and his former business partners against him, George Koenig is his lawyer. After which he
Why
uses
would you
the
even
wrong name
care
for the
about a
judge
Lamborghini,
and then
though?
loses his train of thought, moving on like it just didn't happen. Funny thing, George Koenig isn't his lawyer. George Koenig is the lawyer for the Sheds, the people who he says stole everything from him. So what exactly is even being stated here? That's a little bit more than like a general slip of the tongue, in my view. It's like the mother of all crypto crashouts, and it just doesn't end. He spends some time at 52 minutes lamenting the fact that no one stood up for him, saying things like, "I just needed one champion," and he claims to have called all these people, then clarifying that somehow multiple of them are also involved in the money laundering, even calling out CoffeeZilla by name, who apparently wasn't interested, which, yeah, dude, obviously. No one with any sort of ethical fortitude or actual skill set wants anything to do
Oh,
with
damn. The
This part-
Lamborghini notes expand. No. No. No.
or actual skill set wants anything to do with you. This part was funny.
You guys see why I'm so crazy? You guys see? You guys see why I'm so crazy? You guys see it? You see it yet? If you don't see it yet, you're going to. But by the end, I promise everybody's going to see my crazy.
This part was less funny.
I didn't want you guys to see me. There's no telling. There is no telling what I might do on the street. As you know. Look at what I'm capable of. Look at what I've done.
And this part, after he talked about making the woman who he had an affair with take a lie detector test because he can't trust anyone, this part was even less funny.
This is me saving my life. That's what I'm doing. Not because I'm in reckless abandon or danger or I'm about to do anything any moment, but I could.
At this point, as if it were possible even, it gets worse. An hour and 15 minutes in, he starts realizing that there's errors
this is
in his own
depressing.
manifesto, and he self-refers to this big document that he reads as a manifesto, which is weird. And then at 77 minutes in, he actually opens ChatGPT and says, "Let's do it live." Didn't make any sense at the moment, but it does later on. Yeah, it turns out you can literally see in the manifesto parts where it clearly says ChatGPT said this, because he made this with an AI summary tool. And now he's concerned and losing his own train of thought because there's errors in the unhinged meltdown that he wrote for himself to say live on stream. At 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 54 seconds, he obviously quickly deletes that part of the text, but it's just so emblematic of con man crypto bro culture. Even the manifesto, the supposed nuclear weapon final option, it's just a lazy regurgitated summary written by a program, because crypto culture does not create, it leeches. 86 minutes in, he starts defining.
Do you guys think that all crypto culture leeches? So I heard this quote. Now, I've been thinking about it a lot, right? There's only two types of people: producers and parasites. Now, I always want to be like, obviously, the producer, right? Like that's what you should strive to be, is like a producer, not a parasite. But like as a majority of like the content creators in the crypto space, like are most of them just leeches now? Is that what it's turned into? Something to think about.
Buying his own lawyers. George Koenig has got to be part of the lawsuit. He knows the laws inside and out. He is a criminal. My lawyers don't want to do it, but he's got to be added to
99% crypto is a
et cetera.
leech.
And then a minute later, George Koenig
Parasite.
bribed the court, officially accusing the opposing counsel, publicly, mind you, on social media, of bribery. He's even talking shit about the judges in his own trial on YouTube for the world to see, which is why I feel pretty confident saying that this is the most spectacular influencer meltdown that I've ever personally witnessed. You couldn't even make this up if you wanted to. At 1 hour, 31 minutes, and roughly 46 seconds, he goes, I'm going to show you guys how to do this live right here. After which he spaces out and forgets what he was doing. But then thankfully he remembers and puts an article into ChatGPT, all right, for a summary. Well, sad face, big sad face. The summary didn't come out the way he wanted it to. He was taking an article and trying to have the AI program like see through the deception of the article to the actual story and make him look good, instead of the narrative that didn't make him look good, which obviously didn't happen because there isn't one. But wait, because 3 minutes later, he does the same thing a second time.
Man.
An hour and 38 minutes.
I'll tell you this. I like using AI for some things, but like this is not the way to do it. I did make my music video to start the stream with AI today, but it was fun.
Roughly an hour and 38 minutes in, looking for a 2-paragraph summary this time, and it makes him look terrible yet again. In response to this, he literally starts saying, you guys see, it's tough. It's tough out here. He's not doing what I want him to do, and it's really embarrassing. Genie, you're really embarrassing me right now. Genie being the AI program that is not cooperating and making him look good by summarizing articles that make him look bad. It is bizarre. At like 1 hour and 49.
You know what is sad? He has had enough time to probably have rebooted the channel and get it started off the ground. I mean, it is pretty hard to want to... So, here's the issue. I'll tell you what the issue is, because we're all experiencing it, right? Like, Red Panda went and announced his 250K giveaway and immediately lost subs, right? Right now in the crypto space, they're all bleeding subs, me included. I'm bleeding pretty fast as well. The fact of the matter is that trying to build a cryptocurrency related YouTube channel from the ground up in a bear market is extremely difficult. You can do it, and it probably is the best time to do it because you'll be the most grounded. That being said, I can understand the perspective of being like, damn, I don't want to do that.
8 minutes, he starts blaming everyone who's even watching the stream for all of his misfortune. So many of you had a hand in this when I've done nothing but support this space, with a bonus of, remember these people tried to kill me, thrown on top. But at this point, you're probably getting bored. I mean, how could it possibly get any worse? Oh, it can. At almost 2 hours in, an hour and 57 minutes,
Damn.
He starts going over the Atazi video from back in the day, the one that he tried to sue over. And he claims that his own lawyers back then were also in on this too. What is even happening at this point? The entire world is apparently against him, and to be honest with you, it probably does seem that way. When you live your life the way he does, yeah, the entire world kind of is against you in a sense. At precisely 2 hours in, he figures out there's more mistakes in the manifesto, because he used an AI program to make it, which got things wrong, obviously. And then he goes on to say that the real reason why he sued Atazi was because Atazi said he was responsible for pump and dump schemes. And his justification was that without realizing, his own team were the ones doing it behind his back. Woe is me. Nothing is ever his fault. There were pump and dumps, but it was never him. He's innocent. Got it. At this point, I was mentally checking out, but the icing on the cake, man. He literally says, I was an idiot like y'all. I thought these coins were going up. While he was the one telling people that they were going to go up after accepting 40, 50.
I talked about this before with him though. Like, here's the thing is like, I'm actually kind of going to give BitBoy the shadow of a doubt here, because by nature of talking about a project in crypto, you inadvertently increase the price, therefore kind of giving yourself a false sense of success, right? And then if you do that enough times at the level that he's doing it at, it's obvious that you're going to end up having some, you know, is it psychopathic tendencies, I suppose, or narcissistic tendencies, right? And I talked about this during the bull run with him too, because I was like, it was clear that it was already happening, similar to like what I had seen in 2018 with some people. And it kind of also, it depends on the size of the channel. It depends on the type of project. There's lots of things. I mean, that's why I'm so adamant about mine, don't buy. When you listen to me, because I want to be extremely careful. And I've made mistakes. Like, I've made a ton of mistakes in the past where I've like been like, oh, buying this one, it'll go up, and then like it either goes up for a little bit and then goes down, and then it's all relative to when like the people listen to you and they buy, and then like somebody might have a fantastic opinion of like some call you made because they got it at a certain time, and others might have a terrible because they held it too long. Like, there's a lot that goes on with it. It's like, it is to the point, like sometimes where it's like, is this even worth it? Like the mining side of things, I think is worth it. And I think like the tech side of things, like all that's very fun. The trading side of things, all that, as far as crypto goes, I think I'm just as disgusted and burnt out with it as all of the viewers and everybody else, right?
Maybe $75,000 payments from projects to promote
Is Retro,
them.
what's going on with Retro? Is something broken in chat?
While portraying himself as an expert. That was the entire persona. Crypto expert, investment plays. And now he's just an idiot like y'all. For anyone who's skeptical of that, here's a clip where he outright admits that they used to get paid insane amounts of money to promote projects. He distances himself from it by saying, not for the past year and a half, though, as if that somehow makes it okay. No, dude, you made your fortune by preying on people, and now it's gone. Nobody cares.
Are you guys going to own talking smack about me yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, of course.
And what did you say?
Well, we were under the impression that you only talked to projects that paid $75K to come to the table.
And where did you get that number from?
From the balance sheet that was sent to us from your guy.
What, was it 40 grand?
I don't know.
And how long ago was that?
That was about 14 months ago.
Okay. We actually don't do coin token promotions or NFT project promotions. Haven't done that in about a year and a half.
As if it could possibly get any better. At 2 hours and 3 minutes, quote, I'm not going to...
Well, that was when he took down all the videos, remember?
I keep playing things. The video is already way too long. Quote, I would like immunity from the SEC. And here's why. I want immunity because I've never done anything wrong. I have never in my life made a video in crypto to make the price go up so I could sell, and my audience would lose money, end quote. Oh, cool. Okay. You want immunity. You said, I've never done anything wrong in my life. That's definitely how immunity.
Yeah, you can't say I want immunity because I've never done anything wrong. Like, you can't say Biden pardoned his son because he didn't do anything wrong.
Works. So you're good, man. You know, you got it for sure. Well,
I mean, I guess
what is even
always
happening right now? He goes on.
Yes, I know there are those cases, by the way. It's just funny.
To flatly admit that he sold coins within 72 hours of making videos about them. Because he didn't realize that the price was going up because of him making the video. He just didn't know.
It's so funny because I've been calling this out for like 6 years now.
Guys, come on. And then 2 hours and 14 minutes in, he goes, Cobb County Police. Let's find Cobb County Police contact info. Let's see if anybody cares. I don't know if anybody cares. If you do care, here is Cobb County Police.
Cobb County Police, 2 stars, 204 Google reviews.
Department right here. Says the address, says the phone number. Don't call them and tie up their phone lines. Don't call 911. Don't make emergencies not be able to get got. If you're from Cobb County, call the police, go to the police department, go to their website, tag them on Twitter. Where's Twitter? He then accidentally reveals one of his Twitter sock puppet accounts and says, "This is one of my alt guys. Damn it. That's my only alt." Forgetting that he just said this is one of my alts 2 seconds prior. I mean, it's insane. At 2 hours and 30 minutes in, he has.
There's something somebody told, and like I've actually had this argument with like friends and stuff like that, where I say that like the best policy is honesty, because eventually you'll get caught in your lies. And like some people will be like, well, some white lies are okay. You don't want to hurt people's feelings, all that sort of stuff. And I kind of get that perspective, but like, and I know I come across like crass and stuff like that, because like sometimes like in emotional states, you'll say things that you maybe don't mean or whatnot, blah, 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 that all that sort of stuff. But like honesty really is the best policy, because then you just don't fall down these rabbit holes. It may be painful. Like there are definitely things that I've been honest about that are extremely painful, but at least like they're all out. It's like you can't hold a lot against somebody that's honest. I think it's just the best policy, to be honest. To be honest. Pun intended. I don't know. Like this is just a mess, dude.
As a mini breakdown. Do you see what I'm willing to do? Like unhinged.
Like this isn't even entertaining. This is just sad.
Honestly. And then there's an episode about how he's out of weed, doesn't have much time left, has to show people he can do without it, spiraling down into, I don't even know what stage of the meltdown. At almost 3 hours in, 2 hours and 52 minutes, he decides time for more harassment and says, "Let me go get Lori Dyke's email for you guys so you can all email Lori Dyke," directly calling for that against yet another party in the lawsuit.
That's against the law, isn't it? I mean, I guess not. But you really shouldn't solicit that.
"You guys should email," says the address. "You guys all email Lori and let her know what you think about her attempt to cover up everything." Just totally mask off at this point. There's more. It goes on for another full hour, ending with a whole segment about how he drove around looking for bridges and how he loves his kids, but they think he's a villain. And this is where it gets kind of difficult to outright criticize someone if you have basic empathy. But I have to kind of like snap myself out of it, because BitBoy being looked at rather like he's some sort of villain is because he is a villain. BitBoy is a quintessential example of crypto greed, spiraling out of control.
Yeah.
He's completely unhinged.
This is not the first time though. Like I said, the reason I'm always scared of this is because I've seen it happen over and over. Like Trayvon James from 2018, dude. BitConnect!
Ranting and raving about his Lamborghini in some sort of perfectly bizarre caricature of what the crypto ecosystem truly is. At its core, that community is about degenerate gambling, to the moon style delusions, and all of it for the sake of material possessions. Sports cars, designer clothes, Rolex watches. These are what they want. And when they can't have them anymore, clearly, they go insane. Coming from nothing to tens of millions of dollars because of predatory crypto token garbage, like what happened to Ben Armstrong, and then losing the veritable icon of that success, in this case his Lamborghini Huracan, literally broke this man's brain. He's becoming a husk of a person, hell-bent on revenge against prior business partners for some sort of convoluted scheme, but he's not pursuing that topic like a rational person. He's doxing, threatening, harassing, and slandering people. Even his own lawyers or the judges on top of that. Because this man simply cannot he's incapable of taking accountability for anything.
It's hard to take accountability as anybody, but it's extremely hard in these positions. Like, I just think about, like, I know it's, like, not that big of a deal, but, like, Musk can't take accountability for being caught paying to level up in Path of Exile. Like, this isn't a unique problem. It's a human problem. We all have this problem. Everybody has the problem of not taking accountability, and everybody likes to point out everybody else not taking accountability.
You can feel empathy while also understanding that a lot of people have been harmed directly because of him and his words. Honestly, it's almost cinematic at this point. BitBoy sold his soul for crypto wealth. And we're watching in real time
Yeah.
what happens to someone who does that when the
Yeah, never sell your soul for crypto wealth, boys. Just get a 9 to 5, hammer it out, mine some Bitcoin, stay grounded.
payment comes due. If anything, it should be a warning. Living that sort of life like he did is never stable, because the company you keep and the people that are there with you are just as corrupt and predatory as you are. There's no honor among thieves, and con men certainly do steal from other con men. That's what I see. A con man civil war, and BitBoy obviously lost it. That's it. This was the most stunning meltdown I've seen on YouTube possibly ever, and considering I've talked about this whole subject for years now, it felt like it was worthy of making a video. I do hope that Ben figures it all out. I mean, he should just get off the internet for a while at the very least. I hope he realizes that a real honest career is better than being a sleazeball. Go be a good father to your kids. Like, drop the crypto shit, man. Become a good person and be a good father. Just, this is not the way. But if he does that, if he actually improves, which he has yet to do in any conceivable sense of the word, but if he ever did actually improve, and he puts down this whole the world is against me accountability conspiracy shield, I'll honestly, genuinely respect him for it. However, until then, and I don't see it ever happening, he is a joke. If you want to support the channel, check out the links down below, a special VPN deal, locals and Patreon, merchandise, social media, etc., etc. But I'll cut it there.
I even know, so make sure you guys go like the video.
And have a nice night.
Good video. I think it covered all of it. It was definitely depressing. I gotta say, like, I even know people though, like at my low level with like some of the stuff I've gone through, I know people that have like similar opinions of what they have towards BitBoy towards me. So like, I'm fully self-aware of these types of things. So like to a certain extent, like people are always want to be extremely harsh on others. And I'm not really about that. Like, I'll call out for the protection of the viewer, right? Like calling out that he's deleting videos of pump and dumps. You know, calling out that's how the whole entire platform works. I'll do that, but like, as far as the rest of it, you just kind of hope the guy gets better. You know, you just hope the guy gets better. And works through all of his stuff. We all have to do it. And to like sit here and be hypocritical and act like I haven't gone through things that I needed to learn lessons of would be pretty ridiculous. So I don't know. But yeah, a couple big points. Don't accept payment in crypto for making a video about said crypto. I think everybody that watches this channel that I've had that conversation with knows exactly that I know exactly who you are. Brothers, don't do that. I don't want to see you guys like this or like Trayvon James. For real. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. Go get a 9 to 5 to make up the money. I hope you enjoyed this clip from the Crypto Mining Show. If you would like to see more from this particular episode, take a look up here. Don't forget to also subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support me directly, you can go to sonofatech.locals.com and become a member. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next Tuesday.